Hey everyone, Jonny Skywatcher here to talk about the season 7 premiere of The Flash. What about it? What's going on? Oh yes, that show, it's still on. So, right, The Flash. I used to like that show in like season 2. Season 1 of The Flash was actually very good, and I enjoyed season 2, though I did start to notice the quality was starting to go downhill at that point. And by the time you get to season 3, it's just not very good. And I think I dropped off around season 4, but I've been catching up every now and again when they post the season on Netflix. So I was caught up with the show going into this premiere. But there were some things I just did not really remember at all. I don't know if it was because the amount of time that passed since I last saw the season 6 finale, or I just have lost so much interest in some of these characters that I didn't even realize Cisco was not in this episode for a while. Because I legitimately thought he'd left the series. I thought he should have left the series a while ago when they initially took his powers away, which I really thought was a dumb decision when they did that. Before I go too much into it, I do want to give just an initial spoiler warning, because I don't know how much I'm going to get into spoilers. Maybe I do, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I just like to give a blanket spoiler warning because I do not like having to hold back. And I find it annoying that I even have to give a spoiler warning. So be grateful for that. If you haven't seen the episode and you care about spoilers, go ahead, pause this video, go ahead and watch the episode and come back. Whatever you feel like. So what even happened last season on The Flash? Well, Iris got replaced by a mere doppelganger, which was a big storyline for her. And you have to keep in mind, one thing about season 7 compared to previous seasons is season 6 did get cut off short because of the whole lockdown pandemic situation. So I think these initial couple episodes, I don't even know exactly how many episodes it is, maybe 2 to 3 episodes of season 7 were supposed to be in season 6, the very end of season 6. So that's why, you know, it's still continuing the same storyline with the same bad guy rather than introducing a new threat, because we are still really dealing with the ending of season 6 rather than the beginning of season 7. So last season, how much was going on? There were two main things. So after Crisis on Infinite Earths, we found out that the Flash killed the Speed Force, I guess, because of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and now he has to build replacement Speed Force. I like artificial Speed Force, as they call it. Okay, I don't know if that's a thing from the comics. I will admit I have not read any Flash comics ever, so I do not know anything when it comes to this character. So they were working on building an artificial Speed Force, and Iris was trapped in the mirror dimension, and there was a mirror duplicate, and Flash didn't know it was a mirror duplicate, and they spent like, oh, I think she got trapped in right after Crisis, or maybe had to be right after Crisis. Anyway, it was annoying, and I wanted it to be over, and it's not over yet. So Iris is still trapped in the mirror dimension. At the end of the season, Barry found out that the fake Iris was not the real Iris, and he has no idea where the real Iris is, and I guess someone died. The evil mirror villain's husband got killed, and then I guess not Plastic Man, Elongated Man got blamed for it, and he's the actor who we will not be seeing this season because of some bad tweets and whole Twitter cancellation thing, which I don't really want to get into, but I do think it's kind of stupid. So we're not seeing that actor. I don't know if they recast or what's going on with that, but we're not seeing him around anytime soon. And they were still working on the artificial Speed Force. They make progress on that finally in this episode. So the season 7 premiere is called All's Well That Ends Oh, O's Wells that ends Wells, I think. Obviously, off of Harrison Wells. And the main plot of this episode has to do with getting that artificial speed force up and running, which they've been trying to do. So we start off the episode with this guy who I immediately have already forgotten what his name is. Brandon McKnight. I think that's the guy. So this guy, Chester, was introduced, I think, last season. I don't even know if he still has powers. He had some sort of black hole power. I don't know. It's been too long. Anyway, I guess he's part of Team Flash now because he's the only one around, and he's just monitoring the situation because the Flash is in hibernation now. I guess that's a thing they have. Has this been a thing that's been featured in a previous episode? Because I don't think it has been. But now, because the Flash's speed, the speed force is dying and he's losing his speed, they've been putting him in hibernation, I guess. That's a thing now. I don't know. And then the Flash runs off to confront Mirror Mistress, or whatever her name is. Of course, the problem that has to be in the show is that she's too fast for him, because that's the only thing that can happen with the Flash, is he has to run fast, and when he runs into a problem, it's because the villain is too fast. So I'm pretty sure the solution to this will be that Flash will have to get faster, because that's what the show has always done. Is the Flash isn't fast enough, so he has to run faster. So when that predictably doesn't work out for the Flash, Mirror Mistress, I guess, kills off Mirror Master because he was just a mirror creation the whole time, I guess, or something like that. Okay, I guess. I don't see what the point of that was, but okay. And then Iris is just having a nice dinner with Barry, except no, of course not. It's just in the mirror world, and she's going crazy and stuff, and it's not very interesting, to be honest. And then there's this whole thing with Cecilia trying to talk to the Mirror Master's cohort, Top, or whatever her name is, and so that's the thing that happens, and they talk for a bit. He decides to go talk to her. Wells is finding out when he talks to the Council of Wells that's been in his head that he could create the artificial speed force, but if he uses himself and I guess the Wells as an energy in order to do it, he will die, which is the conflict for this episode. And it's this weird global this weird thing is how they're going to make the speed force, because he has to touch it, but he doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to die. So they end up trying some other things that don't end up working. And Mirror Mistress, okay, so this is the scene Cecilia's talking to the Mirror Master's accomplice or whatever. I think they were together, like a Bonnie and Clyde thing. She doesn't really make any progress, and they're trying to figure out the speed force, and then that doesn't work. They try using some other app. What happens? The one good thing about this episode, which was amusing, was all the Wells end up going inside of Barry instead of Harrison, of HG or whatever his name was. The current Wells, or the only Wells left in the universe, the multiverse, I guess. So they end up all going inside Barry. So then Barry is basically possessed by all these different Wells. So you get amusing different characters for Grant Gustin to play. He gets to play all these sort of previous versions of H.G. Wells that we've seen: Sherlock, H.R. Wells, the Earth 2 Harrison Wells that we saw in season 2. So that was fun. More mirror drama going on. And then, of course, because it can't be just a thing that's happening. It's, if they do leave the Harrison Wells inside the Barry, he's going to die. normal CW stakes. Earth 2 Harrison Wells have a heart to heart because, you know, they of course find out that this Wells was hiding something from them by not telling them that he already knew the solution to creating the artificial speed force, but he didn't tell them because it would involve him dying, which would not be great for him. They have a heart to heart. Iris still in the mirror world, and then Cecilia goes back to talk to this person and has one of the most ridiculous moments, which I do have to play. So she basically uses her empathy powers to turn that fear back on this character, and something happens that it's just mind-bogglingly like bad.
So that I can put it all into you.
So basically she turned her fear back on her, but she literally says, "My heart is racing." That is some top A quality writing right there. You know, otherwise how else would we know that the character is experiencing, you know, some sort of distress if they weren't, you know, just telling the audience that their heart is racing. What? that's kind of quality writing we're dealing with on The Flash, which, yeah, that's kind of why things have been going downhill. And so it doesn't even really end up working. Maybe she gets some info, I don't know, it's not important. They tried the whole Speed Force thing again, and they get the voices out of Barry's head and back into Nash Wells, I think that's it, that's his name, right? Yeah, Nash Wells. And then of course you have this dramatic moment where, you know, he realizes the only way to bring back the I keep saying bring back the Speed Force. No, it's just making artificial Speed Force. I don't know why they couldn't do something where they could bring back the Speed Force, or I don't really like the idea of the artificial Speed Force, because isn't that going to run out at some point? I don't know. Anyway, he says he has a tearful goodbye. I am assuming this is a send-off to Tom Cavanagh, who I'm assuming is going to be off the show. I think I read something about that back in season 6, that season 6 was originally going to be his last season because this was going to be a season 6 episode instead of a season 7. So you have a tearful goodbye, and this is another good scene. I would say in this episode the good scenes were Barry having all the different Wells in his head and going through the different personalities. That was amusing, and also kind of neat to see after like we've gone through all these Wells through the various seasons, to see some of them pop back in that format was pretty cool. And then this scene was legitimately pretty good. You know, it was a nice send off to the actor who's played, you know, all these different versions of this same character on the show. Of course, you know, we could always get him back as Reverse Flash. I don't know. I don't think it would be a season regular, but we could see the actor again if he comes back as Reverse Flash. Because even though they have the other actor as Reverse Flash, I don't think they've brought him back the last couple times they've had Reverse Flash. They've used the Tom Cavanagh version. So we could see him again. And of course, while he's sacrificing himself, Barry has to run because that's the way, you know, he has to do everything on this show. The only thing he can do is run. And, you know, he uses the new Speed Force. He's sad. They're sad that Nash Wells is gone. Now they don't have a Wells at all. And they're not going to get one. And Iris is in the mirror universe. Or not the mirror dimension. And this happens, which... Wait for a second. It's a mirror image, and then that happens. I don't remember what that means exactly. I think it just means she's starting to lose it, because the more she sees the mirror world as being like not a reflection, the crazier she's going to get. And then we get the reveal at the very end of the episode. We find out that Mirror Mistress, who's we've seen this whole time along, where Iris met her in the mirror universe, is actually the mirror duplicate, not the original. Because, or at least seemingly, it seems like the original actually did die, like her husband claimed, because she's watching this high definition security footage. I have to say, I'm pretty sure security footage is not this high definition. This is like some top A quality security footage, which is what my first thought was. Like, this is just like some amazing footage. So yeah, she's the mirror duplicate, I guess. Maybe, who knows? And what does that mean? I guess she might not be the real one. I don't know. What does that change anything, really? I don't think so. I think it just means that she wasn't the original, and maybe she's just gone crazy. It's kind of hard to grade this episode because it's not really a series premiere. It's more of a series 6, which is weird because it is going to be officially part of series 7, season 7, and it's not, in a way. We'll have to see how they do the rest of the season, because it kind of feels like this should have just been part of season 6, because it does not fit a premiere episode at all. But what are you gonna do? That's how CW does it. This episode did have some bright spots. Barry as the different Wells, and then that ending departing scene when he's sacrificing, Nash Wells is sacrificing himself, was pretty well done. I'm glad that they were at least able to give Tom Cavanagh a good send-off. At the very end of the episode, when they were talking, Barry, Chester, and I'm blanking on the characters' names, because she was also introduced last season, I think. So Barry, Allegra, and Chester were talking, and I just remembered, oh, where's Killer Frost and Cisco? Because Cisco's still on the show. I guess they're elsewheres. I don't remember. I think they mentioned Cisco was traveling somewhere. I don't think the multiverse, because they don't know about the multiverse anymore. Who knows? Not very important to the episode, I guess. So in conclusion, it wasn't a terrible episode. It has some sort of flaws as a season premiere, as I've said before, but it was okay. I am tired of the mirror dimension and mirror mistress, or whatever her name is. I was kind of hoping they would wrap it up a little bit faster, so hopefully, I don't think even in the next episode they'll be able to wrap it up, but hopefully only like 1 or 2 more episodes. Probably 2, because I think I saw someone refer to this episode as like the 3rd to last episode of season 6, or what it should have been. So I'm guessing there's going to be 2 more episodes, and then hopefully we can move on to something else. But I am not that hopeful. I don't know if I'm going to keep reviewing The Flash. I just wanted to get something out here for at least the season premiere. I'll see how people react. If you want me to keep reviewing The Flash, let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you thought about the episode, if you did watch it. Or if you've stopped watching it at all, let me know what you think about what you've heard about it. If you've watched this episode just for the sake of finding out what people think about it without watching it. And if you liked the video, go ahead and click that like button. If you didn't, go ahead and click the dislike button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.